My name is Daniel Carter. I am 28 years old, and I have spent the last 7 years in the military. People think I joined for pride, for medals, for glory. I didn't. I joined because my father failed. I'll fix it, I told my mother the night I signed the papers. She held my face in her hands. Family sacrifices for family, Daniel. My father, Richard Carter, sat at the kitchen table with unpaid bills spread in front of him. His small construction business had collapsed. Debt swallowed everything. "I never asked you to do this," he muttered. "Yes, you did," I said quietly. "You just didn't say it out loud." Ethan, my younger brother, leaned against the doorway. He was 17, then, skinny and nervous, already talking about becoming a doctor. "I'll make you proud," he said. "You already do," Mom replied, kissing his forehead. I remember watching that and thinking, I'll carry the weight so he doesn't have to. At basic training, when the drill sergeant screamed in my face, I repeated one sentence in my head. This is for them. When my first paycheck came, I sent almost all of it home. Dad called me that night. "Daniel, this helps. It really helps. How much do you need next month?" I asked. There was a pause. "Whatever you can send." So I sent more. During my first deployment overseas, I slept in a narrow barack room with metal walls and one small window. My boots stayed by my bed. My rifle never left my reach. The house back home got new windows, then a new roof, then a renovated kitchen. Mom would video call me, turning the phone around. "Look what we did. It's beautiful, isn't it?" "It's perfect," I said, even when I was eating cold rations in the dark. Ethan would grab the phone. "When I start med school, I'll pay you back." "You don't owe me anything," I told him. "Just focus on becoming a doctor." Dad sounded stronger each month. "We're stabilizing. You saved us." Those words kept me alive more than once. One night, during a mortar attack, I pressed my face into the dirt and thought, I can't die. They need me. When my contract extended, I didn't argue. More years meant more money. More money meant security for them. 7 years passed like that. 7 years of sending every dollar home except what I needed to survive. I trusted Dad with my savings. We opened a joint account before my first deployment. "It'll be easier," he said. "I'll manage it for you." "I trust you," I answered. And I meant it. Last month, my unit returned earlier than expected. No one knew. I didn't tell my family. I wanted to surprise them. I imagined Mom crying, Ethan hugging me, Dad shaking my hand like I was a hero. I took a taxi from the airport straight to the house. The house looked different. Bigger. Fresh paint. New car in the driveway. I smiled. I walked up quietly and reached for the door. It was slightly open. I heard voices. Dad's voice. "We don't need him anymore. Ethan is our future." I froze. Mom replied softly, "Lower your voice." "He made his choice," Dad said. "He wanted the military." "Fine. But Ethan will be a doctor. That's real security." My chest tightened. Ethan spoke next. "What if Daniel wants to move back home?" Dad laughed. "He won't. And even if he does, this house is yours now." Silence filled my ears. Then Mom said the words that shattered something inside me. "We did what we had to. Daniel understands sacrifice." I pushed the door open. They all turned. For a second, no one spoke. "Daniel?" Mom whispered. "I'm home," I said. Dad stood slowly. "You didn't tell us." It was a surprise. My voice sounded strange to my own ears. Guess I heard one instead. Ethan stepped forward. "Bro, it's not what you think." "Then tell me what I think," I said. No one answered. I looked at the walls, the furniture, the polished floors. "Nice upgrades." Dad cleared his throat. "You've done well for us." "For us," I repeated. "Good." I pulled out my phone. I tried to transfer money this morning. The account's empty. Dad's jaw tightened. I reinvested it. "In what?" "Family assets." "What assets?" He hesitated. Mom stepped in. "The house." I stared at her. "What about the house?" Ethan looked down. Dad said it plainly. "The house is in Ethan's name now." The room felt smaller. "Why?" "Because he's staying," Dad said. "You're not." "I never said I was leaving." "You chose the military," Mom said suddenly, her voice shaking but firm. "Ethan chose us." The sentence cut deeper than any blade. "I sent everything," I whispered. "And we're grateful," she replied quickly. "But this is about stability." "For who?" For this family, Dad snapped. I am this family. Silence. Ethan rubbed his forehead. Daniel, calm down. Calm down. I laughed once. You're living in a house I paid for. Dad's face hardened. Watch your tone. Or what? Or you'll forget this is still my house. No, I said quietly. It's Ethan's. No one corrected me. I looked at my father. How much was in the account? Enough, he answered. That's not a number. It was used wisely. Was it? I asked. Or did you decide I'm just the backup plan? Mom's eyes filled with tears. Don't do this. I didn't start this. Dad walked closer. You've changed. I've grown up. You sound ungrateful. I stared at him. Ungrateful. For everything we did for you. I felt something break inside my chest. What you did for me. I repeated. Ethan stepped between us. Please stop. I looked at my brother. Did you know? He hesitated too long. That's enough, Dad said. I picked up my duffel bag. How much is left? It's tied up, he said. Invested. In your name? In mine, he replied. I nodded slowly. Mom reached for my arm. Stay for dinner. I'm not hungry. Dad crossed his arms. Maybe it's better if you cool off somewhere else. I stared at him. I think it's better if you don't come back, he added. The words landed heavy. Mom gasped. Richard. He's angry, Dad said. He needs space. I looked around the living room. My childhood photos still hung on the wall, but I felt like a stranger. So that's it? I asked. No one answered. I walked to the door. Daniel, Mom called. I paused but didn't turn. Family sacrifices for family, she said weakly. I swallowed hard. I already did. I stepped outside. The door closed behind me. The night air felt colder than any battlefield I had known. I stood on the driveway, staring at the house I had paid for, listening to the muffled voices inside. For 7 years, I thought I was their hero. Tonight, I realized I was just their wallet. And as I walked away from the only home I ever knew, one truth settled deep in my chest. I no longer had a family. I checked into the cheapest motel I could find. The neon sign outside my window flickered all night. I lay on the stiff bed, staring at the ceiling. I almost died for them. I whispered to the empty room. The memory came back fast. Mortars falling, dirt in my mouth, my hands shaking as I pressed against the ground. Move, Carter, someone had yelled. I moved because I thought about my mother's voice. Family sacrifices for family. I closed my eyes in the motel room. I survived for you, I muttered. My phone felt heavy in my hand. I called Ethan. He answered on the 4th ring. Yeah. I repeated. That's how you greet me now? He sighed. What do you want, Daniel? I want the truth. Silence. Did you know about the account? It wasn't my decision, he said quickly. That's not what I asked. Another pause. Dad handles finances. Did you know my name wasn't on the house anymore? That was for stability. For who? For the family, he replied. I am your family. You left, he said quietly. I left to pay for your life. You chose that, he shot back. No one forced you. I sat up. You think I wanted to sleep in sand while you remodel the kitchen? I didn't ask you to. You didn't stop it either. He breathed hard into the phone. What do you want from me? An apology. For what? For taking everything and pretending it's normal. It wasn't my decision, he repeated. But you accepted it. He didn't answer. That's what I thought, I said and hung up. I stared at my reflection in the cracked mirror. I was your shield, I told myself. And you let them use me. The next morning, I walked into the small clinic downtown. I didn't have an appointment. I just knew Claire Bennett worked there. She looked up from the desk. For a second, she didn't recognize me. Then her eyes widened. Daniel. Hi, Claire. She rushed around the counter and hugged me. You're home. Why didn't you call? I wanted to surprise everyone. Her smile faded. You saw them. Yeah. She pulled back and studied my face. You look wrecked. I feel worse. She led me into a small break room. Talk. I sat down. They transferred everything to Ethan. The house. The account. All of it. Her eyebrows pulled together. Wait. Your savings too. All of it. That's theft. It was legal, I said bitterly. Joint account. She stared at me. Daniel. They used you. The words hit harder than my father's. Don't, I said. I'm serious. You sent them every dollar. They're my parents. That doesn't give them the right to erase you. I looked at the floor. Maybe I was just the extra son. She leaned forward. Stop that. They said I chose the military. Like that means I chose to stop being family. She hesitated. There's something else. What? She took a breath. They've been telling people you're unstable. I looked up slowly. What? They said the war changed you. That you're unpredictable. My chest tightened. Why would they say that? To protect their image, she said softly. If anyone asked about the money, they'd say you weren't fit to handle it. I stood up so fast the chair scraped. They told people I'm dangerous? I'm sorry. I laughed once, but it sounded wrong. I almost died protecting strangers. And they call me unstable. She stepped closer. You're not unstable. Then why do I feel like I'm losing my mind? Because betrayal messes with your head, she said. Not because you're broken. I pressed my hands against my face. I don't know who I am without them. You're Daniel, she said firmly. The guy who carried everyone else. I'm tired of carrying. Then stop. Her voice was calm, but strong. I looked at her. What if they're right? What if I'm just angry and dangerous? She grabbed my wrist. Look at me. Are you yelling? Are you threatening anyone? No. You're hurt. I swallowed hard. They made me sound like a problem. You're not the problem, she said. Their choices are. I left the clinic feeling both heavier and clearer. Later that day, I drove to the veteran's office. I didn't plan to see him, but Sergeant Marcus Hill walked out as I entered. He froze. Carter. I straightened without thinking. Sir. He shook his head. Drop that. You're home. Feels temporary. He studied my face. What happened? My family. He nodded once. Coffee. We sat in a quiet corner. They drained my savings, I said. Transferred everything. Told people I'm unstable. His jaw tightened. Did you sign anything? Joint account with my father. Control clause? I don't know. He leaned back. You survived war, Carter. Barely. But you did. Don't let family destroy you. I stared at my cup. It hurts more than combat. Because you expected bullets from the enemy, he said. Not from home. I let out a slow breath. What do I do? Stop begging for love, he replied. Start checking paperwork. I looked up. Paperwork. Banks leave trails. Transfers need signatures. Bonuses are documented. You think I can get it back? I think you deserve to know the truth. That night, I logged in my military benefits portal. My hand shook. There it was. Multiple transfers labeled Family Investment Account. Authorized by Richard Carter. Sole Controller, Richard Carter. I stared at the screen. He planned it. I whispered. Each bonus. Each hazard pay deposit. Moved within days. No joint access. No shared control. Just my name as the source. I leaned back against the motel wall. This wasn't panic, I said to myself. It wasn't survival. It wasn't emotional. It was organized. Calculated. I thought about my father's calm voice. We did what we had to. No, he did what he wanted. I looked at my reflection again. I wasn't disowned because I failed, I said quietly. I was removed because I was no longer useful. The truth settled into me like cold steel. This wasn't emotional betrayal. It was calculated. I stopped staring at what I lost and started asking what I could build. Marcus met me at a small office downtown. You ready to work for yourself? He asked. I don't know how to do that, I admitted. You learn discipline, strategy, control. That's enough. He slid a paper across the desk. Private security contractor. High pay. Long hours. No emotional baggage. I gave a dry smile. No emotional baggage sounds good. You'll be protecting executives, not fighting wars, he said. Think you can handle suits instead of sand? I can handle anything that doesn't lie to my face. He nodded. That anger? Use it right. I don't want to be angry, I said. Then be focused, he replied. I filled out the application that afternoon. For the first time in years, I wasn't sending money home before paying myself. That night, Claire knocked on my motel door. You got the job? She asked. Interview next week. She stepped inside. I'm proud of you. I haven't done anything yet. You chose yourself, she said softly. That counts. I looked at her for a long moment. I don't know how to live without sending everything away. Then learn, she replied. Start small. Small like what? Buy something just because you want it. I don't want things. Then want peace. I laughed quietly. You make it sound easy. It's not, she said, but it's possible. She reached toward my arm. Her fingers brushed a scar near my elbow. Does this still hurt? Sometimes. And this, she asked, touching my chest lightly. That one's newer. She didn't pull her hand away. You don't have to prove anything anymore. I've spent my whole life proving I'm useful. You're more than useful. The way she said it made my throat tighten. Claire, I said carefully, what if I don't know who I am without them? Then figure out with people who don't need your money, she answered. I wanted to say something braver, but my phone buzzed. Ethan. I hesitated, then answered. What? Can we meet? He asked. Why? Just please. We met at a quiet park at night. He looked thinner than I remembered. You look tired, I said. So do you. We stood in silence for a moment. Med school isn't going well, he finally admitted. You said it was your dream. He allowed a short laugh. It was their dream. I studied his face. You told me you wanted it. I wanted them to be proud, he corrected. Same as you. I felt something shift inside me. You had a choice, I said. Did I? He snapped. You were always the strong one. They just needed you to pay for it. I stared at him. What does that mean? It means you were the soldier. I was the investment. I sent that money for you. I know, he shouted, then lowered his voice. I know, and I hate it. Hate what? That I benefited. I crossed my arms. You could have said no. To what? He asked. Living in the house? Going to school? They said you wanted this. They lied. I'm starting to see that. I took a slow breath. So what do you want? I don't know, he said. But not this. Then quit. It's not that simple. It is, I replied. It just costs pride. He looked at me carefully. You're different. I stopped begging. He nodded slowly. Dad made an investment. In what? Some guy named Victor Lang. The name meant nothing to me. Who's that? A businessman. Promised huge returns. With my money, Ethan looked down. Mostly. My jaw tightened. How much? Almost everything. When? Months ago. I felt my pulse in my ears. Is it working? He didn't answer. Ethan. It collapsed, he whispered. The word hung between us. Collapsed how? The company folded. Investors lost everything. I laughed once, but there was no humor in it. Of course it did. Dad thought he could double it. Ethan said. He said you'd thank him. I never asked him to gamble it. I know. I stepped back, trying to steady myself. So they're broke? Worse than before. As if summoned by the truth, my phone rang again. Dad. I showed Ethan the screen. He swallowed. You should answer. I did. Daniel, my father said, and for the first time, his voice sounded uncertain. What? We need to talk. We've talked. This is serious. It was serious when you took my money. He inhaled sharply. I was trying to grow it. With Victor Lang? Silence. How do you know about that? He asked. Doesn't matter. We were misled. No, I said calmly. You were greedy. That's unfair. Is it? He lowered his voice. Debt collectors are calling. And they're threatening legal action. I closed my eyes briefly. You invested money that wasn't yours. It was for the family. I am the family. He didn't respond. We need help, he finally said. Now we miss you. Now we're sorry. Just we need help. My chest felt tight, but my voice stayed steady. What kind of help? Alone. Temporary. From who? From you. I almost admire the audacity. You told people I'm unstable, I said quietly. That was taken out of context. You transferred my bonuses into an account I couldn't touch. It was strategic. You put the house in Ethan's name. For protection. And now you want protection from me? His voice cracked slightly. Daniel, please. I looked at Ethan standing across from me, pale and silent. The power had shifted. I wasn't the desperate son anymore. I was the solution. Inside, something twisted. If I help them, I go back to being their wallet. If I don't, I watch them drown. Claire's voice echoed in my head. Stop carrying everyone. Dad spoke again. We're your parents. I know. We raised you. Yes. And now we need you. I let the silence stretch. For years, I would have answered immediately. This time I didn't. I'll think about it, I said, and ended the call. I didn't have to look for proof that everything was falling apart. It found me. A former neighbor sent me a message. Is it true your parents are losing the house? I stared at the screen. So it was public now. That evening, my mother called. I answered, but didn't speak first. Daniel. Her voice trembled. Are you there? I'm here. We were wrong. I waited. We shouldn't have handled things the way we did, she continued. What way was that? I asked calmly. The money, the house, the distance. Distance, I repeated. That's what you call it. She started crying. Please don't be cruel. I'm being honest. We're under so much pressure, she said. The bank is threatening foreclosure. And Ethan, he left school. I closed my eyes. He dropped out. He couldn't handle it, she whispered. The stress, the calls, the shame. Did he leave because he wanted to? He said he never wanted it in the first place. That didn't surprise me. Daniel, we need help. There it is, I said softly. What? The real reason for the call. That's not fair, she snapped, then softened her tone. We miss you. Do you? Yes. Or do you miss the money? Silence. We were scared, she said. We thought investing would fix everything. It fixed nothing. We know that now. Do you? I asked. Or are you just out of options? She cried harder. Please. I felt the old pull in my chest. The urge to fix it. To send money. To save them. But I didn't answer. After I hung up, Claire came over. You look torn, she said. They're losing the house. And Ethan dropped out. She studied me. Do you feel responsible? Yes. Why? Because I started all of this. No, she said firmly. You funded their choices. You didn't make them. They're drowning. And who threw them the rope before? She asked. I did. And what do they do with it? I looked away. If you save them again, she said quietly, you teach them nothing. I can't just watch. You're not watching strangers, she replied. You're watching adults face consequences. Her words stung because they were true. Later that night, I met Marcus. They're calling nonstop, I told him. Of course they are. What would you do? I'd separate emotion from strategy, he said. They're my parents. That's not easy. War wasn't easy either, he replied. But you learn discipline. I don't want to be heartless. Setting boundaries isn't heartless, he said. It's healthy. I hesitated. What if I help only Ethan? That's different, Marcus said. He didn't sign the papers. Dad claims he was protecting the family. Marcus leaned forward. Did you check why they labeled you unstable? I know they told neighbors. Not just neighbors, he said. I made a call. My stomach tightened. What did you find? Your father filed a statement with the bank. What kind of statement? He claimed you were mentally unfit after service. Said you shouldn't have direct access to large funds. I felt heat rise in my chest. He what? It helped him justify sole control. That's defamation. It is. I stood up. He didn't just lie socially. He documented it. Yes. My hands curled into fists. He erased me on paper. Marcus's voice stayed steady. Now you know. I drove to the house the next morning. Dad opened the door slowly. You look tired, he said. So do you. We stood in silence. I know why you're here, he said. Do you? You're angry. No, I replied. I'm clear. He stepped aside and let me in. The living room looked the same, but it felt smaller. You told the bank I'm unstable, I said. He stiffened. That was misunderstood. Was it? I had to protect the investment. By destroying my name? I didn't destroy anything. You documented that I was mentally unfit. You were overseas for years, he argued. Stress changes people. You didn't even ask how I was. I did what I thought was best. For who? For all of us. I stepped closer. You didn't just take my money. You erased me. He looked away for the first time. I was trying to multiply it, he muttered. You gambled it. Victor promised. Victor lied. I cut in. And you believed him. He had credentials. You had my trust. That hit him. I never meant to hurt you, he said quietly. But you did. He sat down heavily. For the first time, he didn't look like the powerful father I grew up fearing. He looked small. What do you want? He asked. I thought about revenge, about lawsuits, about walking away. Instead, I said, Ethan deserves a reset. Dad blinked. What? I'll help him start something he actually wants. And us. I won't transfer money to you. His jaw tightened. We're still your parents. And I'm still your son, I replied. But that doesn't mean you control me. We could lose everything. You already did, I said calmly. You lost me. He didn't argue. I'm contacting military legal services, I continued. Whatever remains under my name, I'm reclaiming. You can't. I can. He rubbed his face. This will ruin us. No, I said. Your choices did that. Within weeks, I worked with legal officers. The paper trail was clear. Some funds were unrecoverable, but not all. I signed documents that gave me sole control over what remained. For the first time, my name stood alone. Debt collectors eventually seized the house. I watched from across the street as strangers walked through the front door. Mom stood on the porch, crying. Dad carried boxes to a small rental truck. They moved into a cramped apartment across town. No dramatic explosion. No revenge speech. Just consequences. Karma didn't need my help. It arrived on its own. 2 years changed everything. I stand in my office now, looking at the city through clean glass instead of cracked motel windows. Marcus walks in holding a folder. You're late for the briefing. I'm the owner, I reply. I can be 2 minutes late. He smirks. Owner doesn't mean lazy. I'm not lazy. I'm thinking. Dangerous hobby. I lean back in my chair. We landed the corporate contract. Signed this morning, he says. They trust you. They trust the company. They trust the man who built it. I don't argue. 2 years ago, I had nothing but anger in a duffel bag. Now I run a security consulting firm with steady clients, trained staff, and my name on the door. Feels different, doesn't it? Marcus asks. Yes, I admit. No one here sees me as a wallet. They see you as a leader. I nod slowly. I had to learn the difference. That evening, Claire waits for me outside the office. You look proud, she says. I am. You should be. We walk toward her car. Dinner at my place? She asks. Are you cooking? I might attempt it. That sounds risky. She laughs. You've survived worse. At her apartment, she hands me a plate. You don't have to carry everything alone anymore. I know. Do you? She challenges gently. I'm learning. She studies my face. You're softer now. I'm stronger. Explain. I don't confuse sacrifice with love anymore. She steps closer. And us. Us is honest, I say. No guilt. No obligation. She touches my hand. Good. I hold her gaze longer than I used to. There's no rush. No pressure. Just choice. Later that week, Ethan visits my office. He looks healthier. You look stable, he says. I am. He smiles slightly. I started classes. Med school again. He shakes his head. Physical therapy. You like it? I do. Then stay. I work part-time at a rehab center, he adds. It feels real. I'm glad. He looks around my office. You built all this without them. I built it without depending on them. He nods. They want to see you. I know. They're different now. Are they? They lost everything, he says quietly. It changed them. Loss teaches fast, I reply. He hesitates. Will you come? I think for a moment. Yes. I meet my parents in their small apartment the next Sunday. The space is tight. Plain furniture. No pride in the walls. Mom opens the door. You look well, she says. So do you. I answer politely. Dad stands from the couch. He looks older. Thank you for coming, he says. I'm here to listen. We sit. Mom folds her hands. We've had time to think. I hope so. Dad exhales. We were afraid. Of what? I ask. That you would leave us behind, he says. I hold his gaze. I never left. You push me away. Mom's eyes fill. We thought if you built your own life, you wouldn't need us. I didn't need money, I say. I needed trust. Dad nods slowly. I was wrong to control the accounts. And to call me unstable. His voice drops. That was inexcusable. Yes, it was. Mom reaches toward me, but stops halfway. We don't expect things to go back. They can't, I reply. Dad swallows. Can you forgive us? The question hangs heavy. I can forgive, I say carefully. But forgiveness doesn't erase boundaries. He nods. What boundaries? No shared finances. No control over my decisions. No guilt when I say no. Mom wipes her tears. That's fair. And respect, I add. Public and private. You have it, Dad says quietly. I study his face. I don't see pride anymore. I see humility. I'm not here to punish you. I continue. I'm here to move forward. Mom whispers, we're proud of you. For what? I ask. For standing on your own. I breathe slowly. I always could. I just didn't realize it. We sit in silence, but it feels different now. No manipulation. No pressure. Just truth. A week later, I drive past my childhood home. A for sale sign stands in the yard. I park across the street and step out. The windows reflect sunlight, empty and quiet. I walk to the mailbox. It hangs slightly crooked the way it always did. I reach into my pocket and pull out my old military dog tags. I hold them in my palm. I carried you everywhere. I whisper to myself. They feel lighter now. I drop them into the mailbox. I was never just your wallet. I say softly. I was your son. The metal clinks against the hollow interior. I step back. No anger rises. No hatred. Just release. My phone buzzes. Claire, dinner tonight? I smile. Yes, I type back. As I drive away, I don't look in the mirror. I don't need to. They disown me. But losing them forced me to finally choose myself.